the care provider's experience, the importance of a seasoned groomer or a seasoned you for high energy level doodles. I said or wrote high energy level especially because it's trickier to work with them because they react faster and they react more. So let it be a calmer or a medium energy level doodle, you're still gonna need some experience, but you're gonna need a lot of experience to work with high energy level doodles. What will you gain in case you have experience and you have a few tools up in your sleeve? I mean, by tools, I mean methods, not actual tools to keep them still. So what do you gain? You're gonna be able to establish faster connection between your doodle. They're gonna focus at you, not focusing on whatever is happening out there. And that's gonna be incredibly advantageous for both of you, because as long as your dog is focused at you, they're not gonna be as much bothered by other things happening around, sounds, noises, smells, and you can reconnect them faster in case you have a trust. And if you build trust and the connection is there for both of you, you're going to be able to communicate faster with your doodle, and your doodle will be able to communicate faster with the groomer in case they have awesome experience around high energy level doggies. So the communication, by that I mean they're going to be able to ask the doodle to do stuff for them. For example, they're going to be able to get the doodle stand up or sit down or lay on the side because they have the connection and the experience to do so. Enough experience to work with you and your doodle rather than doing stuff to them. I often use this phrase, and I wanted to explain it a little so you can understand what I mean by that. Working with means that I have a need, you have a need, and I care both of our needs. Yours and mine as well, and they are equal. So for example, in case I want to brush my dog because I have a need for their health and beauty, then I'm gonna figure out what the doggy needs as well. So in case they need a fun run before the brushing session, we're gonna do a fun run before the brushing session. In case they are absolutely ready for the brush, then I go ahead with that. It's not like I have an agenda like in the doing to thing that I will brush you no matter what, and you stay there and sit means sit. Actually, I don't even like that phrase like sit means sit, because it's based on power and domination, and I just like to work with people, and I like when people work with me, not do stuff to me. And whenever we do stuff to people or dogs, and we do not care about their needs, and it's very, very tricky to have a flawless connection between the two of you, because it's not going to base on mutual understanding and mutual wish for the other one's well-being, but it's going to be based on I have an agenda and you have you have to behave the way I say you have to behave right now. And that's just not going to work on the long run. And those are the situations when your doggy might work out of fear when you are close by, but when you are asking them to come back and do a recall, then they're going to be like, screw that. I'm not doing that because you cannot punish me right now. And they will understand that. Dogs are very, very smart. And whenever they understand that we work with them, they're going to cooperate much, much more than whenever we're just trying to do stuff to them. More effective strategy and action plan and faster behavior modification. Whenever we understand the doggy's symptoms, then we're going to be able to come up with action plans fitting those needs, what the doggy is providing us by body language and the behavior and the way they breathe and the way they move or not move. And we're going to be able to modify the behavior faster. It's an amazing and very effective flow. You're going to get the confidence to work with dogs who are showing late sensitivity signs. Let it be your doggy is licking, chewing, biting, snapping at the equipment or at you. We're going to be able to work around that, and you're going to be able to desensitize your doodle to different situations. Let it be they are biting you or the equipment. At first, I know it sounds kind of like crazy and impossible sometimes because you are so used to poor doggy not cooperating with you that it's going to be tricky even to imagine that it can work. But once we analyze all the symptoms what your doggy is providing, and we list all the feelings and needs behind those symptoms, and we also do the same thing with you, like how are you feeling? Because in case you are feeling fearful or worried or anxious, then your doggy will pick up those energies like in a split second, and they're going to behave that way, and they're going to react to that. So it's very, very important to list those feelings and needs on both ends of the brush and figure out what might be your doodle's feelings and needs and what might be yours, and come up with strategies that will fit both. Sometimes we need some training for both of us without even using grooming equipment, like a little bit of training around getting used to the nail clipper, or a little bit of training for us to be okay with touching the feet and not sweating all over our body because we are just super afraid that our doggy will snap at us again. So we need some pre-work, oftentimes, let it be the doggy or you or both, but stuff can be done and you can get very, very effective with these feelings and needs methods, what we're going to talk about. Ability to modify behavior rather than labeling doodles and aggravate the symptoms reactions. An average groomer would use muzzles and harnesses and grooming loops and 3 other groomers or bathers, whoever they can reach and get to the situation and get over with the high maintenance doggy. Now I put it kind of rudely, but groomers work with their hands from one perspective. They work with their hands and they really need to take care of them because whenever they hurt themselves, then they need to be out of work, especially if it's a big one and they might not even be able to work. So they really have to be on top of safety for them and also for the doodle or any other doggy breed. So the situation is, whenever a doggy reacts, you really need a seasoned groomer who is going to tell you, like, okay, the doggy was super, super sensitive for the feet and I was not able to use the clippers there, just my shears or nothing. And the doggy will go home without a bad experience. She or he is going to stop the grooming there or skip those parts and let you know how you can work on your doodle. Because we need to modify behavior. Every single experience when we go further than the doggy is comfortable with, that's going to leave a watermark on your doggy's brain. And I'm talking not literally, but that's going to leave them a memory that they will base their behavior on in the future. So keeping that in mind, that whenever we go further than they are comfortable with, that's going to make it even harder for us to desensitize the doggy later on. So we absolutely need to be careful about whenever we are stepping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps further than the border of comfort, because that will make it either easier or harder. If you go further, and the more further you go, that's going to be even harder. That's why I really, really like groomers who will say to doodle moms and dads or any kind of doggy moms and dads that, hey, this is how your doggy's reacted. I'm especially happy when they say like, hey, this is exactly the behavior I noticed. Like the doggy was pulling the feet away, or the doggy was biting me when I was trying to lift up the front feet. Whenever we say that, that's a great sign that the groomer is aware of the doggy's behavior and they are looking for solutions rather than doing stuff to the doodle. Sometimes from health perspective, we have to go further than the dog is comfortable with. But that situation hopefully happens only once. And after the necessary stuff gets done, like a short shave, even when the dog is not comfortable with the clippers, because there's no other way around to safely get to the skin and between the skin and the mat, So even when we need to do that once, letting the doggy mom know, like, hey, this was the case. You see the mess. It's horrible. It's like a sheepskin. It's totally matted from tip to toe. And this is what you can do. This is what you use. This is how you use it. And then we can prevent stuff from happening. So you're going to get the understanding what you're going to need to detect symptoms and reactions and to modify them rather faster for your doodle and for you and for your groomer.